Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be chosen for something truly world-changing? To be handpicked by someone who would alter the course of history forever? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most pivotal moments in the Christian faith, the story of how Jesus chose his 12 disciples. This wasn't just a random selection, it was a deliberate, strategic, and deeply personal process that brought together a group of ordinary men for an extraordinary mission. Let's set the scene. Jesus had begun his public ministry. Crowds were flocking to him, drawn by his revolutionary teachings and incredible miracles. But to build a lasting movement, one that would survive and thrive long after he was gone, he needed more than just a crowd of followers. He needed a core team, an inner circle who would learn from him, live with him, and eventually carry his message to the ends of the earth. So, how did he do it? The Gospel of Luke tells us that before making this monumental decision, Jesus went up on a mountainside and spent the entire night in prayer. This wasn't a quick, casual choice. It was a decision bathed in communion with God the Father. It shows us the immense weight and importance of this selection. He was choosing the foundational pillars of his future church. The next morning, he called his followers to him, and from them, he chose 12, whom he also named apostles, which means sent ones. So, who were these men? Were they the most educated, the most powerful, the most righteous? Far from it. That's what makes this story so fascinating. They were ordinary people, just like you and me. First up, we have Simon, whom Jesus gave the name Peter. Peter was a fisherman from Capernaum, working alongside his brother, Andrew. Peter was impulsive, passionate, and often spoke before he thought. He was a natural leader, but also prone to making big mistakes. Remember, this is the same Peter who would later deny Jesus 3 times. Yet, Jesus saw in him a rock, a foundation upon which he would build his church. He saw Peter's potential, not just his present flaws. Andrew, his brother, was also chosen. Andrew is often seen as the quieter of the two, but he was the one who first brought Peter to Jesus. He was a connector, someone who brought people to meet the Messiah. Next, we have another pair of brothers, James and John, the sons of Zebedee. They were also fishermen, partners with Peter and Andrew. Jesus gave them a rather fiery nickname, Boanerges, which means sons of thunder. This suggests they had intense, zealous personalities. They were ambitious, once even asking Jesus to grant them the seats of honor in his kingdom. But their passion, when channeled correctly, would make them powerful witnesses for the gospel. James would become the first apostle to be martyred, while John would go on to write a gospel, 3 letters, and the book of Revelation, becoming known as the Apostle of Love. So right away, we have for fishermen. This is significant. Fishermen in that era were not uneducated laborers. They were small business owners. They had to be hardy, patient, and courageous, familiar with working through storms and pulling together as a team. These were practical skills that would serve them well in their future ministry. Then we have Philip and Bartholomew. Philip, also from the same town as Peter and Andrew, was a more analytical, practical thinker. When Jesus fed the 5,000, it was Philip who calculated how much money it would take to buy bread for everyone, highlighting the impossibility of the task from a human perspective. Bartholomew is believed to be the same person as Nathanael, whom Philip introduced to Jesus. Nathanael was initially skeptical, famously asking, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" But when he met Jesus, his skepticism melted away, and he made one of the earliest and greatest confessions of faith, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel." Next on the list are Matthew and Thomas. This is where the group gets even more interesting. Matthew, also called Levi, was a tax collector. In first-century Jewish society, tax collectors were despised. They worked for the occupying Roman Empire and were notorious for extorting money from their own people. They were considered traitors and sinners. For Jesus to call a tax collector to be one of his closest companions was absolutely scandalous. It sent a clear message: his kingdom was open to everyone, regardless of their past. Matthew's inclusion demonstrated grace in a radical way. And then there's Thomas. Today, we often call him Doubting Thomas, and for good reason. He was a man who needed proof. He famously declared he wouldn't believe in the resurrection unless he could physically touch Jesus' wounds. But Thomas's doubt wasn't born of cynicism. It was born of a deep-seated honesty. He wasn't afraid to ask the tough questions. And when he finally saw the risen Lord, his doubt turned into a profound declaration of faith. My Lord and my God. Thomas reminds us that it is okay to have questions, and that an honest search for truth can lead to a powerful faith. The final group of four includes James the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot. We know less about some of these men. James, son of Alphaeus, is sometimes called James the Less, perhaps to distinguish him from James the son of Zebedee, or maybe he was shorter in stature. Thaddeus, also known as Jude, is credited with writing the short but powerful letter of Jude in the New Testament. Then there's Simon the Zealot. The Zealots were a political group who fiercely opposed Roman rule, often through violent means. They were revolutionaries. Think about this for a moment. Jesus put a tax collector, Matthew, who worked for Rome, on the same team as a zealot, Simon, who wanted to overthrow Rome. In any other context, these two men would have been mortal enemies. But in the circle of Jesus, they were called to be brothers. This shows the incredible power of Jesus to bring together the most unlikely people and unite them in a common purpose. He was creating a new kind of community, one where old divisions and hatreds were overcome by love and a shared mission. And finally, we come to the most tragic figure, Judas Iscariot. He was the treasurer for the group, but he would ultimately be the one to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. The question of why Jesus chose Judas has been debated for centuries. Did Jesus know he would be betrayed? The Gospels indicate that he did. Perhaps Judas's inclusion is the most profound statement of all. It shows that even in this hand-picked group, human free will and the potential for failure were present. It is a sobering reminder that being close to Jesus doesn't automatically make us immune to temptation or moral failure. It also shows that God can work His ultimate purposes even through our darkest moments and greatest betrayals. The cross, brought about by Judas's act, became the very means of salvation for the world. So, what do we learn from this incredible group of men? We see a diverse team of fishermen, a tax collector, a political radical, and skeptics. They were not perfect. They were flawed, ordinary men. They argued, they doubted, they failed. But Jesus didn't choose them for who they were at that moment. He chose them for who they could become through Him. He saw their potential, their heart, and their capacity to be transformed. This story is incredibly encouraging for us today. It tells us that you don't have to have it all together to be used by God. You don't need a perfect resume or a flawless track record. Jesus looks for availability, not just ability. He looks for a willing heart. He delights in taking ordinary, imperfect people and doing extraordinary things through them. The 12 disciples went on to turn the world upside down. Their message, empowered by the Holy Spirit, spread across the Roman Empire and beyond, and it continues to change lives 2,000 years later. It all started with a night of prayer on a mountainside and a courageous call to a group of very normal guys. It's a testament to the fact that with Jesus, the ordinary can become extraordinary. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this amazing story. If you found this video encouraging, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which disciple's story resonates with you the most? Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next video.